I'm working, he came in and he's just looking really shocked. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's on the phone and he's just like, Garrison has passed. And I'm like, and he says it to me and I'm like, what? And he just started crying and I was just like, oh my gosh, what? And I'm just trying to gather the details, trying to figure out what's going on.
Welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Robyn Brown was devoid of tears, a woman that has spent the better part of 15 seasons or 15 years crying about everything, literally crying about how special it is to be a sister wife, crying about the special bond, how amazing this life is, crying about Meri leaving, crying about kissing Kody while she wasn't married to Kody and how it hurt Christine, crying about literally everything. Fake crying, not single tears, having a full-on meltdown, blubbering meltdown when Meri left the family and the money walked out the door. But when Garrison passed away, Robyn had nothing to say, and she couldn't even fake that. She was sad. She tried to a little bit, but it didn't work. And when she was asked about how she found out, she was talking not about herself. She was talking about Kody and how she needed to help Kody and process things for Kody and be there for Kody, right? Be there for Kody, because Robyn, I don't think really cared about what happened, because Robyn didn't like Garrison. Robyn spent years putting all of the blame on Garrison. Why did she not like Garrison? Because Garrison was a truth teller. Because Garrison saw what was happening in the family. He saw the manipulation. He saw the inequity of the division of assets. He saw the inequity in the division of time. He saw his dad neglecting his other responsibilities. He saw his dad using money and all of his resources on her. He saw that she was manipulating Kody by playing the victim and claiming that she was a victim of his children. In fact, it was Robyn who blamed his kids for causing her trauma in this family. And it was Robyn that was mad at the kids because they didn't listen to her. It was an effort in futility. It was Robyn that for 4 years was so angry at Garrison because he called her on the phone and asked her about the CO rules. And then Robyn spent 4 years of the show talking about how awful it was that he was blaming her, that he was the one that was pointing fingers at her. How dare he blame her? She's tired of being blamed. She's tired of them pointing fingers at her, which then got Kody riled up. And of course, Kody, having the savior complex of being a narcissist, had to come in and swoop up and save his damsel in distress, Robyn, from the evil man Garrison, who had them both figured out. The reason why Kody and Robyn, I believe, went so hard at Garrison was because he was telling the truth about what they were seeing. He saw what was happening in the family. He spoke about the inequities that were happening. He spoke about the division problems that were happening with the time. And he was really pointing out the fact that this family wasn't a family, and it was a threat to their show. Because during this fight, Overco Robyn kept talking about how they had to save their jobs, and so they viewed Garrison as a threat to their livelihood. They viewed Garrison as a threat to the veneer or the mask they had put on this family for years and forced everyone in the family to bow down to and play their roles. So Robyn and Kody could have money, and Garrison and Gabriel didn't want to play the game anymore, and they were tired of having to fake it when they knew it wasn't the truth. And they held back for years because they respected their mother and they respected Christine and they didn't want to cause a problem. But when Christine left and they realized that there was going to be someone in the family that stood up, they were going to also stand up too. And he said that on the show. That someone needed to stand up and say what was happening. But Kody and Robyn could not handle that. And so when Robyn is given an opportunity to speak about it, she says nothing about him.
And he just started crying, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what? And I'm just trying to gather the details, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to be there for him, trying to register the shock myself, trying to register what's going on myself, and he just fell apart.
Just fell apart. Meri was crying hysterically, and she was struggling to even speak when she spoke about this. Absolutely devastated about the news. She said it was one of the worst experiences of her life, not having to hear that one of their children was passed away, and it was so apparent that Meri loved Garrison. It was so apparent Meri loved Garrison and was so devoted to that family that when she found out, she dropped everything. She first went to Kody and Robyn's, but then she left Kody and Robyn's, and she was with Janelle, and she got Janelle food, and she stayed with Janelle to assist Janelle because she loved Garrison. When she arrived at Kody and Robyn's, Meri comforted Gwendolyn. Meanwhile, Kody and Robyn didn't go to the scene. Kody didn't go meet up with Janelle. Janelle had to deal with everything with the police. It was Kody's boys or the sons that he had disavowed and shunned that had to handle the care of Garrison in the passing. That was all placed on them. Kody and Robyn didn't know anything about the difficulties he was facing. They had no idea because they didn't speak to him. And as you see right there when Robyn speaks, I'm trying to process it. I can't really process it, she's trying very hard to suppress a tear, but she can't even fake it. And then she said, and then he fell apart. Not I fell apart. He fell apart. Christine explains falling on the floor and crying. Janelle talks about crying and driving in a car going racing to get to him, even though he's passed. And Robyn is like he fell apart. Robyn can't even pretend to care. Robyn and I didn't get a chance to
really just make things right. Just not being able to say goodbye. Just don't know what to do with this death because it's like I've got to do something different because I could have had more time with him and I thought there would be more time.
No, that's what everybody does.
Everybody thinks they got more time.
Yeah.
Absolutely staged. Garrison died on March 4th. There was still tons of snow on the ground, I told you that in a couple videos ago, and it was not green like that until late April, maybe even June. May, I don't know, but it wasn't like that when Garrison passed away. It was very snowy, still in Flagstaff. And this scene is staged, and Kody is trying to appear remorseful, and he's acknowledging that he made mistakes, right? Which, for the show, is good, but in the real world, he hasn't changed. Okay? And the reason why he hasn't changed is because, well, he has a wife that tells him he doesn't have to change or encourage him to change. I mean, you can't make anyone change. But if you're making a statement publicly that Rob and I didn't have a chance to make things right, if you're not aware they call him Robert Rob in the real world, Garrison was the name they used for him on the show, but is in the real world they call him Rob or Robert. And he said Rob and I didn't have a chance to make things right. And now I'm realizing I need to do things different. I need to make changes because I thought I would have had more time. And instead of Robyn saying to Kody, you have the time now to make things right with your other children. You have the opportunity to change the fractures in relationships. When, if you recall earlier in the same season, she was begging Kody to make things right with his kids. Do you remember that out on the front where there was snow on the ground and she was like, you need to get things right with these kids. I'm worried about these kids. You can't neglect these kids. Remember that? And so now when Kody is saying he needs to do those things now, Robyn says and changes the narrative and says, but that's what everyone says. Everyone just thinks they have more time. Because for Robyn, it's beneficial for her to Kody not to save those kids and not to have a better relationship with those kids. Because for Robyn, if Kody has a better relationship with those kids, it takes away her time with Kody, her kids' time with Kody. It divides his efforts and resources. It makes Kody spend time away from the house, which she doesn't tolerate. I mean, since Garrison has passed away, Kody does not see his children. He doesn't talk to them. His behavior at the funeral and her behavior at the funeral created such problems in the family that they don't speak to him or her because of the way they acted. Now, I've been hearing rumors, and I don't know if this is true, but I was told that Kody and Robyn weren't invited to the National Guard event, and I don't know if that's true and that they just showed up. And I was told that at the National Guard event, the siblings were the ones that had custody of Garrison's remains in his urn, and that Kody and Robyn were not given the remains because the remains were not released to Kody because he was not a next of kin. And I was told that they created a scene because they wanted this filmed for the show and they wanted to do all of this for the show. And so the Wyoming ceremony wasn't about just putting him in the ground. It's about Kody being able to do a display that's public that he can film so that he can make it about himself, and that the fact that he wanted to make this all for the show is a huge reason why there was a division here with the family. I don't know if he wasn't invited. I don't know about the whole National Guard. I did think it was weird that he was there, but I also noticed that he didn't get the flag, meaning he wasn't the next token. And if he had to go get the remains or the urn from one of the brothers, he said that means they weren't released to him by the coroner or the funeral director, meaning that he wasn't an exton, which makes me wonder if he was even on Garrison's birth certificate. I don't know, but again, Robyn allows Kody a way out and says, "No, it's okay. You don't have to without saying it make things right with the other kids."
It still makes me wonder if something could have been done. It's the what ifs. And it's still
Torture.
The what could have been.
Yeah, they're torture, I know.
I think they just help the mourning process. Why?
That's just who you are.
It makes me feel connected to it, to do the what ifs.
Really? Thinking about what he could have had?
Just like, just imagine this or imagine that, or the opportunity, the lost opportunity for him. It's just all sad. It's just heartbreaking.
And another thing I picked up on when she and Kody were discussing during this completely staged conversation was she was laughing inappropriately when he was making some very deep comment about his son. And in that scene, he's talking about the what-ifs, of if he would have done things differently, what if he would have made things right, what if he would have talked to his son? And she says, "Well, you're just that kind of person that's going to do the what-ifs," and laughs. I don't know why she laughed there. It was very odd. Some people laugh when they're uncomfortable. Some people laugh when they don't take something seriously. And then Kody speaks of, like, considering, what he might have done. And then she speaks of, considering what he might have had. And I thought that was an odd thing to say, the what-ifs. What Garrison might have had, considering what he might have had if he had apologized to Robyn. Was that what she meant? If they wouldn't have staged that entire fight? None of this is about her even getting to share her own sorrow. It's just hearing him speak, which indicates to me that she has no relationship with Garrison, mentioning nothing about Garrison. She cares more about Kody than she does about the fact that Garrison isn't here. She's more concerned about Kody being sad, because that affects her, than she is about Garrison being dead. That's what I'm taking away from all of this conversation. And this is just, to me, like, you're a monster. You and Kody were responsible for his death and belittled him and bullied him for years. And now that he's dead, you don't, and you can't, care, even feign caring. It just seeps out somehow or another. The body keeps score.
It just leaks out one way or another. The body keeps track. I'm here for any time you need to. Are you ready to take him home?
Yeah, I'm gonna go pick up his urn from his brother soon, and then...
You want to take him, though, huh? You're gonna go get him?
Everybody was talking about what they wanted for a funeral and everything and stuff like this, and the only thing I could think about is I just want to take his body home and put him in the ground.
So Robyn there is more worried that he's going to be leaving and heading to Wyoming, which I think she traveled with too, and doesn't seem to care about anything, except that if he leaves, that maybe she won't be home. He won't be home to assist her, so that she can go shopping. But that section at the very end where he said, "Put him in the ground." I was talking to Ellen about this. Ellen's from the AUB, and we were discussing the cremation, and we were discussing the burial, the rituals, how the guys and the patriarchs behave in this cult. And we were discussing burying him in the ground and how Kody mentioned, "I need to go pick up his urn from his brothers." And I mentioned, it was so ominous the way that he mentioned it. And she mentioned, he's distancing himself. And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said he's distancing himself from his responsibility, from his role, from the accountability of what he's done. He's distancing himself the way a criminal tries to distance themselves from their victims, not making them human. Just, I don't know about them. I don't know the brothers. They're the brothers. Distancing them so that he doesn't have to be responsible. And then, when I think of it in that manner, when he utters, "Put him in the ground," when I listened to it on the show, I got a stomachache because of that thinking, because I'm like, who uses that kind of language? But when I really think about it, the way that Ellen informed me while discussing how the men are involved in this group, it was like he uttered everybody was worried about what they were going to do at the funeral, which means how they wanted to remember him, how they wanted to honor Garrison, right? How they wanted to celebrate his life. Kody didn't want to celebrate his life. He didn't want to discuss the funeral. He wanted to bury him. He wanted to remove the urn from the siblings and be in charge of things and bury him out of sight, out of mind. He didn't want to celebrate his son's life. He knew nothing about his child. If he can bury him in the ground, he does not need to worry about what he has done. If he can call Garrison, the brothers of his sons, Garrison's brothers, I have to go pick up the urn from his brothers. He can distance himself from the rage that those sons are going to feel towards him and the responsibility that those sons are going to provide to him. They're not his sons anymore. They're Garrison's brother, and now he's going to bury Garrison in the ground and take him away from his brothers and try to interfere and control how they choose to honor his life, because Kody didn't get to decide how the funeral was handled. Kody didn't get to have a say in the National Guard honoring him. All Kody was concerned about was just getting him out of sight and putting him in the ground after all he's done. And Robyn was right beside him like a monster, not even capable of crying. That's Robyn Brown. Robyn Brown abused that boy from the age of 10 years old until the day he died. And this is what narcissistic abuse can do to individuals. And Kody was jealous of his son, jealous of who his son had turned into. He saw Garrison as a threat. He was upset because Garrison had the nerve to call his wife, because no male gets to speak with his wife, not even his sons, and Garrison threatened him, a competition to him. And a threat to the revealing of who Kody was. And now Kody is wanting to bury him. Kody didn't let Garrison into his home, and he was not welcome in his own home when he was still alive, but now he wishes to take him home. Now this is the reason Kody's children are angry with him and Robyn. So what do you think of this perception of Robyn Brown? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.